Strangers in the Alps, a movie podcast. We're recording live on public access. I'm Dan.
Why do you sound like K-Billy Super Sounds of the 70s?
Because I am, man.
Okay. I'm stuck in the...
Can you stay in my groove?
I'm Travis.
Can you stay in my groove,
let me see.
please?
My name is Travis.
There we go. Stay in the groove, Sam.
I'm Sam.
There we go.
I'm Portland.
All right. This is so great. Speaking of Portland, Travis, you got some Portland updates for us?
That's my personal life. Please don't.
Okay.
No, I was in Portland. Sam and I were in Portland.
Can you stay in the groove,
Did you
please?
guys raw dog Portland?
Oh my God. Don't say
Travis, can you stay in the groove, please?
I can't.
Stop talking like you're all hyped up.
Hey, man.
There you go.
Hey, man.
There you go. Tell us about Portland, man.
Well,
Sounds groovy.
Portland was cool, you know.
I'll bet it was.
There was a lot of green.
Cobblestone?
There was a lot of green. There was some good food.
Oh, man. I can rock some good food in Portland.
The best part about Portland
was?
The people.
Oh, I dig the people.
No
in
sales tax.
No sales tax. Gotta rock
Everywhere
some
we
sales
went,
tax.
he was like, guys, no sales tax.
Oh.
To the point where our friend was like, you need to shut up.
Well, here's the part where it got bad. I was buying vinyl because I was like, no sales tax. No sales tax. So I'm
but
like,
plenty of vinyls. Okay, I'm done with this. We're not doing that rocking public access
He flipped
crap.
you off.
Do you know that many years ago, I'm talking like before I had kids, what is that, like pre-black and white TV? A friend of mine and I decided to do a public access show, and it was called Two Guys Talking.
Was it like Wayne's World?
It might have been called Two White Guys Talking.
No.
I can't remember for sure, but it might have been. But anyway, it was two guys talking, and the whole premise was that we would each write 5 questions for the other person and not let them know what it was. And then we would sit down in these 2 big cushy chairs across from each other, on public access, by the way. And then we'd start asking each other the questions. And we thought, this is going to be so great. The network's going to find us, and we're going to have our own TV show. Two Guys Talking. Just like his stuff was always really political. Mine was more entertainment, movie kind of stuff based. It didn't work out.
You were
Here
podcasting
Did you
before.
Here I am
I'm
40
gonna
years
say
later
this.
working with you, yo-yos.
Here I'm going to say
But
this. If you got canceled,
Wow.
he is now like he writes
Jay Leno.
He writes like the stock report for the Wall Street Journal. This guy is like a majorly successful guy.
gosh.
I was going to say,
No.
if you got
Anyway.
canceled on public assets, that says something.
You don't get canceled.
That's what I was saying. If you got
you give them
canceled,
$50 and get a half hour. Back then it was $50 half hour, and then they would air it.
No matter what?
No, because back then on all cable they had to have public access station, so we would run on it, and it didn't work. Anyway, so that was my homage. My opening homage was to public access. Let's go, man.
Hey, that thing that didn't work.
It didn't work at all, and still doesn't work. So here we are. We watched a movie. We watched a piece of cinema.
Cartoon.
I will not say that. We watched a piece of cinema.
Called Akira.
A piece of animated cinema. And Travis, I know you're not ready, so read us the back of that VHS.
I am ready.
Or in this case, the back of that comic book.
I believe the word is...
I don't want to because I don't...
Graphic novel.
Oh, I'm sorry, graphic novel. The back of that graphic novel.
Why am I still doing this 3 seasons later?
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought he was going to say threesome. I was like, wait, not the right place.
Because you'd have to have something else to do, and you don't.
Yeah, I got nothing to do on Tuesday nights.
I don't know if that's worse for us or for you.
Yeah, I don't know who's getting insulted here.
No, okay. A secret military project endangers Neo Tokyo when it turns a biker gang member into a rampaging psychopath who can only be stopped by a teenager, his gang of biker friends, and a group of psychics.
Hey, hang on. That's what that movie's about?
Yes, clearly.
Wow. Okay,
Clearly.
cool. I'm glad you read that, because now I know what I watched.
So, Dan, what were your first impressions?
No, not first impressions.
What were your
Pre-thoughts. Precognitive thoughts. Okay. A couple of weeks ago, I was informed that we're going to watch Akira. Honestly, I'd never heard of it. I didn't know what it was. I typed it into my phone. It shot up. Anime.
I thought you were going to say you thought you were watching a filmmaker about Kurosawa.
There we go. And I went, okay. I have not ever seen a full-length feature anime.
How long is the movie?
And then I saw how long it is. 2 hours and 5 minutes.
including credits.
Whatever. I just want to point out that Beauty and the Beast and Lion King, which are two of the most financially successful animations,
Inside Out 2
were
is
less than 90 minutes long. Anime. Anyway, I didn't really have an opinion, honestly. I had no idea. I mean, I was like, okay, I've actually never seen a feature anime. The most anime I've ever seen, honestly, outside of Speed Racer when I was a kid, if that even counts,
yes, it does.
is whatever that was in Kill Bill that I was watching.
Oh, just
Oh.
that sequence.
And we'll get into that later. But that was, so I didn't really have one. I think part of me was kind of like, okay, cool. I mean, I'm up for it. Let's watch it.
That's not what that sounded like at all.
Well, I will.
You were
We'll
down.
talk about the text later. You'll read my text.
Oh, I already sent it to them.
Okay, cool.
They've seen it.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's
Well, that's
it's
not fair. That should have come up on the
no,
live on the
it's-
podcast.
for me. For me, it was because yesterday, I was like, oh, I asked him, oh, have you seen it? He goes, no, I'm watching it right now. And I'm like, I'm interested to hear what Dan has to say because I was struggling. And then
You happened to text me.
and then a few minutes later, he sent me the screenshot. And I'm like, okay, I think Dan and I are gonna have the same outlook.
And that's your pre-thoughts.
I will tell you this. I hate to get this jump ahead this much, but this is my honest, after what you just said, this is my honest what actually happened. When the movie was over, I walked into the kitchen, got a glass of water, and my first thought was, I bet Sam and I will have the exact same opinion about this movie. I just have this weird feeling we're going to be on the same page.
Now the question is, do
It was
Frank
like a
and I have
psychic-
the same
Yeah.
connection?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So-
One will be more extreme than the other, and I know which one will be which. But
Which?
well, we'll get into it.
I could not. Well, my pre-thoughts. I had heard about the movie, but I had no interest in watching it.
That's fair.
And there you go. But I did hear how good it was supposed to be. So
Right.
So I had heard about this movie for a very, very, very long time, but I didn't see it for the first time until I think this might have been. It was either I think it was like 2019. They played it at the Aero Theater. And I was like, well, I guess it's time I finally see it because but it was like, but I remember not knowing anything about it because everyone would always talk about Akira, and then talk came up again because I don't even know if they're still talking about. I know Jordan Peele was talking about how he wanted to do a live action version
oh no.
of it or
And
something like that.
Yeah, I went through several.
It's been through a lot of filmmakers, so that's when I kind of had interest again. But again, I was for whatever reason, I wanted to be very pure going in, so I didn't know anything when I first saw it.
I got to tell you, about midway through the movie, the thought did cross my mind. There should be a live action version of this.
Hasn't happened yet.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Frank.
I honestly don't remember when I watched it, but it was around the same time I watched Battle Royale. I was going on a little bit of a.
Maybe we could go back to that
Kick.
episode and see when he saw that one.
It was quite a while ago. I was young, but I remember the first time I saw it. Also hearing how good it was, and not knowing much else about it. And then when I finished the first time, I was really confused about what I had just seen.
That
Yeah.
sums it
So,
up.
yeah.
That's fair. That would be a very fair comment.
It's funny. My mom had sat in like every now and then, and she was like, "What's going on?" And then she'd leave. And after when the credits was playing, I was just sitting there, and she's like, "Do you know what happened?" She goes, "I was like, I don't know."
You were just sitting inside.
I was like, "I don't know."
I know Joni walked by at some point, stuck her head into the den and said, "Is this thing still on?" I said, "Yes, it is.
It's a very long episode.
It is. It is a bit long. I mean, to be fair,
So
it
how
is-
many-
it is a bit long.
But you know, it's based off of a manga.
A very long
I was
manga.
gonna
Very,
say, so how
very-
many
I
mangas
I
are
don't
there?
know anything about this movie, and
So-
and this is the weird thing. And I think part of the reason is because by the time I finished the movie last night, I actually went to bed, and then today I've just been working all day. So I would have typically I would have done some research and read about it. I just never had a chance, so I don't know anything about the background.
Okay.
You want to do any context? I would think that would be
I
great for our
refuse to do-
audience. I would love to hear some context, though, just some background on it.
I refuse to do research.
Yeah,
All right, Frank.
I-
You want to start?
I totally understand, Sam. I totally understand.
For what reason did you refuse to do?
I just think she didn't like it.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say I'm not a fan of like anime
Mm-hmm.
or even just animated stuff. I don't know why it never grasped my interest. So it's one of those things where I have to be in the mood to watch it. And unfortunately, this time around, I wasn't in the mood to watch it. So it was like having to force myself to sit through the whole thing. So I think that was also the main reason why I feel the way I feel.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to like, oh wait, I want to watch this, then maybe it would have been different. But
Okay, I mean that's fair. There are times where I don't really feel like watching something, and I have to wait like a couple weeks or months to go back to it. So
right, like sometimes you feel like you don't want to talk to Travis, but you have to every Tuesday.
What did I ever do to you? But no. So this film, yeah. So first, I mean, what came out in I think '88, right?
Yep.
yeah.
So teaser was released '87, but here's the thing: when the manga was coming out, I guess the creator never.
What is manga? What are we talking about?
It's
It's
like
a comic
it's
book,
a
but
Japanese comic.
it's like an Asian comic book.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was never. I don't think he ever really wanted to make an adaptation, like a film adaptation, ever. But I guess as he was working on it, he decided he wanted to, and this was actually very unusual for an anime or animated. Well, I mean, later on, animated films would do it, but at the time, it was one of the first ones that pre-recorded all of the dialogue ahead of time.
Oh, okay.
Instead of now we're
That's interesting.
yeah.
Not only that, but the manga was unfinished when they did the film.
Yes.
So the ending here is not the same ending as the manga because it started in '82 and it didn't end until '90.
Oh my god!
And the film came out in '88. So obviously, there's still several storylines that were unfinished. It's 120 chapters, over 2,000 pages worth of manga. So get ready, Sam. We're gonna read it because we got a new podcast about book.
And the thing is, that's actually very.
Dance face.
I'm not super well.
I just had a mild stroke. I'm okay now.
Dan, I'm not super well versed.
Do that in private, not here.
I'm not super well versed in anime or like manga in general,
Or books.
but I do know or books. But I do know that. I mean, Frank, you can tell me. I think that's pretty common, though, right? As in, like a lot of when they would do films or TV shows, that like Game of Thrones, they would get super ahead.
Yeah.
So I think that's why.
Dragon Ball Z is one of the biggest
And
perpetrators of that because it's got a reputation for having episodes where instead of fighting, they're just standing across from each other in fields
Angrily.
and angrily staring and monologuing
because they were waiting.
by that point they had caught up to the manga, and so they were trying to stall for time until a new volume came out.
That's
so they
funny.
Yeah, and I know a big one too was Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes.
Which was another one. Which
That just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, which was what they. Well, this one was interesting because I didn't know this until not that long ago.
That's a great manga.
They
and
actually
and
ended up
series.
so they did Full Metal Alchemist, which came out. It finished, but it got ahead of the manga.
It was only like halfway through when they
so
finished.
they had to come up with their own ending, and then afterwards they came out with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is way shorter. And I thought it was just like a retelling, but what it is. But I guess it uses the ending from the manga, right?
Yeah, like it's a faithful adaptation. Like I think only like the first 7 to 13 episodes are the same as the original series, and then after that, the rest of it's just the original story. So
Yeah.
with the original show, they only had about that much worth of story, and then the rest they just made up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's very common.
Right.
But I think one big difference between adaptations that we do here and over there is that I feel like they're not afraid to like go their own way like we do here. And when they do, it just generally tends to work out okay, because I feel like they keep a lot of the core of that story like in mind when they keep going. Whereas over here, I don't know what it is about adapting something that's unfinished where it just tends to completely go off the rails. But
Like
what have we adapted in Hollywood that was unfinished?
Game of Thrones,
Game of
right?
Thrones.
for sure.
Oh, that's a streaming series.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. But not film. Not a film.
No.
No, not.
Not a movie, rather.
World War Z wasn't unfinished, but
I
like
think
they
I think
really.
that's still unfinished. I saw it. I'm
Well,
I'm still waiting for the actual ending.
I think that's just a case of just like, hey, that has a really cool title, so let's just take the title but just change
Yeah,
everything.
I agree.
But it's interesting because I feel this is the last one we'll talk about, and then we'll talk more about Akira. Is
That'd be great. That is the movie we are covering
Did you
tonight.
see? Have any of you seen Ghost in the Shell?
No.
Ghost in the Shell was interesting because that's also a anime that's based off a manga that actually got a live action remake with Scarlett Johansson. Where
That was
that one,
mediocre.
what they did instead.
What was the title of the Scarlett Johansson?
Ghost in the Shell.
Never heard of it.
It came out
Good.
20.
That should tell you something about the
so
movie.
that one
It
was
didn't do well.
No.
That one was interesting because what they did was manga is super long. There's many animated sequels, TV shows, spin-offs.
They have so many.
But that one was interesting because what they did was they said, hey, like, let's take this long story, but let's just take this little chunk of the story, but not give you any, like, background information, and just, here you go. So that was one kind of like, because I know you were saying what other that was one when I watched Ghost in the Shell for the first time. I was like,
I don't understand.
That scared the crap out of me.
where
I saw it.
I watched Ghost
You're
in the Shell
being followed.
for the first time. I was like, what's going on? Then I had to watch it again. I'm like, oh,
Wait, what are we talking
okay,
about?
Ghost in the Shell. But we can talk more about Akira.
yeah.
Dan will tell you
Yeah,
all
let's
about
talk
the
about
movie.
Akira. One of the things when I texted you yesterday
Well, what was the text? Because I didn't actually see
that
it.
I asked was, is this considered the gold standard of anime movies? Because I was just curious. I wanted to know, and then your answer was that it was not.
Well,
And then, but you kind of rambled on about some other aspects to it that I mean, rambled in a bad way. I mean, you
He
went.
said, I'm going to give you a call. It's a long story.
No.
No,
I
you really-
think it's just a very loaded question because I think when you say, is this the greatest anime?
I didn't say that. Is this the gold standard?
Gold standard. Well, I
Which
think.
means is this the when you want to see
peak.
something, like, for in other words, movie musicals. I'm just going to use this because it's right. The Sound of Music would be considered the gold standard of musicals. Not that it's the greatest movie musical ever made, but it's the one that you go, okay, that's how you make a movie musical. Is this the gold standard of anime full-length movies?
Even-
or whatever
even
you call
I know that's
features?
not- it's not it.
I think it's kind of loaded. I think on more of it's the gold standard and the most influential lot when it comes to a lot of the technical merits and a lot of it where it's like when you watch something like what's it called, Casablanca, like
Okay.
now, where
Yeah.
you watch it now and you just watch it and you're like, I don't understand what was so special about that movie. I've
Gotcha.
seen it now. I've seen all of this so many times. But when you take in the context of when this movie had first come out,
I know what he's trying to
a
say.
lot
Yeah,
of,
no, I get
a
it.
lot of
It's-
this
it's like,
techniques had just never been done. This is
It's
where
like
all this
Orson
stuff,
Welles. It's
yeah,
like
Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane. When it came out at its time, it was breaking so much ground that
What
it
was
was
it
like, oh my,
breaking?
Well, in what?
Akira.
Yeah.
The just the quality of the animation, the plot, the dialogue, the just pretty much everything about it.
Yeah, like I can tell you,
like it used computer animation for
And-
some of the sequences.
and the headlights on the motorcycles.
Yeah, it is considered a masterpiece.
Yeah, and
I heard about that. I just didn't see it.
I have a question though. I agree with Sam. I have a question, and maybe I kept thinking, is it just my TV? I found the quality of the animation wildly changing from scene to scene.
I think that's
Some
just,
scenes looked really great. Other scenes looked like really crap.
I think it had to do with the stream that you're watching, because when you watch it on disc, it's great.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I mean that makes sense, honestly.
Like at the time, it was one of the most expensive. Like
I think it was like $5 million.
$5 million, and they
In
had to get several
1988.
companies together to make it. They're called the Akira Committee.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. Like it was a gargantuan task to get this made, because it's. I mean, I feel like you still feel it when you watch it. Like it's an epic story.
Oh, it's an epic for sure.
It's a little confusing, a lot of
A little,
confusing.
yeah.
But once you really get the details of it, and I do actually appreciate the fact that they don't spoon feed everything to you. It takes I feel like you see the larger scope for what it is rather than being confused by it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the first time, like I said, the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, that was cool, but I don't. And then as I watched it more and read about it, I know that your big thing is like if everything has to be in the material, and I feel like it is. It's just that it's really
You gotta dig for it.
you got to dig for
It's
it.
very layered for sure.
Yeah.
Dang it, I forgot what I was gonna say. Keep going.
I think for me, I was spoiled because I started with Studio Ghibli, and then
Yeah.
I watched like Paprika and like Perfect Blue. So I feel like that was my exposure to anime and whatnot, and that was a lot more. Obviously, those were like years after.
One of the lead animators in Akira went on to do Kiki's Delivery Service in all of those movies.
Yeah, so I feel like if
Yeah.
I had started with Akira, I think I would have been like, oh shit, maybe this is like
Yeah.
golden standard. But because I started,
It's like when you went in to the Crow, like kind of late, like depending on where you went in.
yeah, exactly.
Would have because the animation is so fluid, especially with the characters, and that wasn't really seen before then. Like again, higher budget, a lot more detail in the animations, even the backgrounds, and the really striking thing for me this last time was watching the scenes with all the holograms and the neon signs, like. And then realizing that all of that was hand animated, not just the people on screen, but the backgrounds and the way that the neon signs trail and like blink. And then, it's thinking about how all of that was done by hand. I can see why at the time it was such a big accomplishment.
I can see that.
Especially in the 80s.
Yeah, and then they because I know
Frank.
and that's what I say. It's like and that's why I say, like, always when you said gold standard, I'm like, in storytelling, I mean, maybe, but that's what I said. I think it's really much of and I don't want to say it's for fans of the genre itself, but I think it's very much, like, sometimes you have like different people that watch a movie. It's like, okay, it's like some people, they watch the movie, they're like, oh yeah, I watch it for the characters, I watch it for the story direction. And you have some, like I do it a lot, where when I watch these movies, I watch them a lot more for like their technical merits
I know you
of
do.
the film. And I think it kind of appeases a lot more to that
Nerds.
audience. Well, I mean, yeah, like
I think that I agree. You do. Pardon me, I can't talk. I agree. That's what you do for sure.
yeah.
I will say the beginning,
Which is fine. Good.
the beginning of the movie very much gave me like Blade Runner vibes.
And Blade
Yeah.
Runner is one of the big inspiration. Well, this film is heavily inspired.
By
By?
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
And
Like,
Star
What year
Wars,
was Blade
actually.
Runner?
82, 81, 82. I feel like it came out around the same time as
84
Raiders.
or something.
Okay, maybe. I feel like it came out close to
definitely
Raiders.
before.
I thought he did both those movies pretty close together.
Probably.
82.
There you go.
But
82.
yeah. What was that? That's one of the reasons why I love this film, because the first time that I saw it,
Don't give away your
That
feelings
was-
yet. Go ahead.
I
sorry.
fucking hated this movie.
Never mind. You let the cat out of the bag.
But yeah, that cyberpunk aesthetic,
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
really like with Blade Runner, it's when you think of cyberpunk, you think of Blade Runner, because that's one of the things that popularized it. And for Akira, for like anime nerds like Travis, but definitely not me, it works the same way.
Yeah.
Like you think about cyberpunk, in anime, the first thing you think about is Akira.
Gotcha.
You know, it's I feel like they're very comparable in that they're both considered masterpieces, but they're not, strictly speaking, in all aspects perfect. It's just they did the things that they broke ground with so well that you can't think of anything else in that genre
Yeah.
if you've seen them without thinking about them. And they also were the genesis of those staples for everything that comes after. Like I love Blade Runner, but I really love Blade Runner 2049, and I know some people think that's sacrilegious.
No, I can agree.
But like
I can see
I
that.
can acknowledge that Blade Runner is a masterpiece while also admitting that I don't quite enjoy it to the same level that I enjoy 2049. So I feel like with Akira, it's probably similar to some people. Like they can admit that it's a masterpiece while also thinking like, hey, like something else does it better. Like for you, it'd probably be Paprika. You know, like it's like what you said earlier with Casablanca and Citizen Kane. You can appreciate a movie's accomplishments and the contributions while also admitting that they're not your thing.
Like something like I said, it's something you would have never, and I didn't even know, never caught, because like I said, I'm not like a huge anime fan. Is at the time when this film came out, it was unheard of and it was deemed too expensive. No one did. This was the first anime film, one of the first, that actually had fully detailed face expressions on all their characters. Like,
I did not see fully detailed anything in this movie.
It's 88, so can't really.
Okay.
yeah, well, that's the thing. At the time,
I love the slow gushing blood, though.
Yeah,
Can I
at
just
the
say
time,
that?
well, and even the slow motion techniques. It's like that. It's like
A
that
lot
was
of slow gushing blood. in
Yeah,
this
I love
movie.
all
especially
the
when
blood.
it came to Tetsuo. It's just like when he was like going through his crap,
His various craps.
Transformation.
various craps. Was Tetsuo named? And then when his arm got metal.
Yeah, when it metals his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that like? I didn't research this, but was it the same? Was it inspired or whatever by Tetsuo, the movie?
Oh,
I don't know. That's a good question.
What do they call it? The Full Metal Night. I know exactly what you're talking about. We have the box set, right?
The
I have
Iron
it.
Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, Iron Man. Yeah. I was like, it's in my
well,
box set.
Apparently, that movie came out in '89, so I don't know that it would.
There's this movie called Tetsuo, and it's this guy who like he either died or got executed by metal or whatever, so his whole body turned metal.
I can let you. We should cover it.
It's actually really.
Is it called The $6 Million Man?
No.
And it's
Because
literally.
that's what I thought of when I was watching this movie.
It's literally an hour long, so it's very
Ooh, I
opposite.
could handle that.
Yeah,
I could handle an hour.
yeah.
It doesn't sound like you like this movie that
No,
much either.
I actually enjoy this movie because
An hour
I'll let
long.
you borrow it.
I'll
I
I'll
think
let you
she's probably
borrow it.
wondering if you're gonna like it.
yeah.
Dan,
Well, I
if you
haven't
can-
even
if
gotten
you can-
into my opinion about anime, which I will
If you
at
can
some point.
if you can handle climax, you can.
Yeah, you can handle this.
What did you think about the body horror aspect of it?
Was there a body horror aspect of this? Or what
Yeah,
part?
towards the
That
end.
was a big part of.
Oh, that grossed me out.
Yeah, so it worked.
Yeah. You're right, when he all puffed up.
Yeah, I like all that stuff. But
I want to
also
see it for real.
the bear in Interloper was inspired by the bear when he was at the hospital. Like that's where I
Interesting.
that's where I started thinking about the bear.
Right, when it,
Wait,
like, when
Wasn't there like a bunny though at some point? Or was
Yes.
okay,
and
a
in
thank
the
you.
car.
Thank you. Thank you.
I did like the three kids. The three kids were cool.
The Esper.
I don't know why.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, the
Because
part that.
they're ESP. Espers.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw this movie.
First layered, peeled out.
I was the first.
19 more to go.
I was the only one. I don't know why in the theater I kept laughing. And I thought it was so funny. Like when they first meet, when it's like the kid, but he looks like an old man,
Yeah.
and he just keeps doing that blank stare. He was like, I know no one can see this, but just that. I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
Wow, it's
I
the
don't
most
know
serious
why.
part of the movie.
The
and
I don't
old
know
man
why.
tiny body thing
Yeah, the
creeped me
old
out
man.
a lot.
I just thought it was so
That
funny.
was creepy, I think.
And the way that he's blue.
Yeah.
He just blew himself.
So I have a question. So have you watched this movie? To those of you, Sam, is this your first watch? Okay.
And only.
So for Travis
thought
that
it
and
wasn't.
Frank.
What?
And only.
And only.
So for Travis and Frank, my
Yes.
question: have you watched this movie both with subtitles and dubbed?
Yes.
No,
You've only watched
I've
subtitles.
only watched it with subs.
I've
and
seen
you've
it
watched
dubbed.
it both ways.
Yeah. You know who dubs Canada in the 2001
I don't know because I have not.
Johnny Young Bosch, I think is his name.
Who's that?
Yeah. He played the Black Ranger.
Oh.
He was the second Black Ranger, the one after what's his name? Left. I forget his name.
I don't know, and I don't
But yeah.
care.
You were on the show.
I was, but I don't think, there wasn't a Black Ranger when I was on. There was a white, blue,
Damn.
red.
Wow.
I was on the original.
Mighty
there was-
Morphin? There was a
There
black
was a
one in
Black
Mighty
Ranger.
Morphin.
He was
Was
literally the Black Ranger.
Yeah, his name was Zach or something.
Zach.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Okay, cool.
There we go. Yeah, he was
I
the
was like
second
on
one.
season like 2 when it was like rocking.
Mighty Morphin, not
Mighty
Rockin',
Morphin Power Rangers,
sir.
you bet. And
Mighty Morphin Pirate Ranger.
my son was in preschool, and he brought his Power Rangers lunchbox in there, and the teacher said, "We don't allow Power Ranger stuff in our school."
'Cause
And
fighting?
Nathan looked at her and said, "My dad is on that show." How about that? That's pretty cool.
And what you said.
And she
He
said,
said, I don't care.
She probably said, "I don't care. Give me your
Sir.
lunchbox."
But why was that not allowed? Because of the fighting?
Yeah, because
That's fucking
after about a
stupid.
year of Power Rangers being on TV, there was this huge backlash on the news because little kids were fighting each other and punching each other.
like
that
they've
never
never done that
happened
before.
before.
Like the Three Stooges, probably decades before, had
I
a
mean,
huge
Looney
backlash or
Tunes.
anything. This is the reason why this is happening, because they're showing this on TV, which might be true in some level. I don't know. Maybe you could try parenting. But anyway, there was a backlash on Power Rangers.
It's just looking for,
So my introduction to anime is so funny because I asked you earlier, is a Speed Racer anime, and you said yes, and I'm curious to hear more about that. But there was some influence as a child on afternoon television cartoons. I mean, that's what they were, watching those shorts. And I always remember watching Speed Racer, and actually I did like it, but watching Speed Racer and thinking, this is so different from the other cartoons I'm watching. The way it's drawn, the action, the actual action of the animation, the moving of the lips, everything was right. I can't.
Well, yeah, because that's what it was the whole thing with Speed Racer is the whole thing with Speed Racer is they did the with the quick quotes. They did. Well, I'm saying what they
You
did.
actually jumped me because I was about to talk about that. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying the way they animated it was the background and the faces weren't moving, but the lips would move,
Yes.
and that was it.
Yes, and I think as a kid, I couldn't really decipher that as much as just acknowledging, wow, this is really different.
But I don't know why.
And I don't know why. And I don't like it as much.
I
It's
like Speed
weird.
Racer. It was fun.
But the other thing, and I thought that's where you were going, but you weren't. And then I picked it up on this, and is that, there's always this, what is that all
There's
about?
an expressive,
What is that all about, though? Tell me. Give me the background on that. Because you don't hear that on anything animated in this country.
It's just an Asian thing.
I think it's cultural.
And
Yeah.
what is it, though?
It's just like you said, it's just
Just
an
expressing
expression, like
yourself?
like,
Express it, yeah.
like some how we just go, oh,
Yeah.
No, it's usually while they're
Ow.
fighting.
yeah. It's just.
They add that little extra.
I think also, I mean, this might be a stretch, but when it comes to martial arts, sometimes huffing and puffing might help.
That
I don't
makes
know.
So you
sense.
get the
That
air.
actually does make
It's
Also,
the
sense.
to
breathing.
audiences, I'm Asian. Just stating it out
Wait,
there.
hold on a second. What did you just say? You're what?
White.
Okay, thank you.
But like I said, I think it's just cultural, the way,
But it's so specifically different than anything else you'll hear.
It's
In
so
terms of
I think
any
it's
other
so
anime.
funny
Are you
because-
saying
so specific to anime. It's so specific to that genre.
And it's so funny because I grew up on Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z.
right.
So you're used to it?
So this is right. So hearing it, it's funny because I think of it as a normal thing.
Right. And I'm so exposed to this stuff.
You're not cultured.
Well, that's
You watched Leave It to Beaver as a kid.
That's possible that I'm not internationally cultured. I mean, my first real exposure to anime when I kind of went, oh, this is anime, was Kill Bill.
Not Pokemon? Nathan didn't watch that?
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon.
Name that
Yeah,
Pokemon.
but I didn't watch it.
Oh.
It's Pikachu.
But watching Kill Bill when they go to that whole anime
Mhm.
sequence, And I remember thinking, well, I'm not a huge fan of Kill Bill. I mean, I love Quentin Tarantino, don't get me wrong, but Kill Bill is like my least favorite
Get out
of
of
his
his
movies.
fucking house.
It's my house, so.
Get out of it.
Oh, that what you own the cabin this whole time?
Yeah, I've been paying the mortgage.
There's a mortgage?
There's a mortgage.
Is this like? Is
And
this
by
like?
the way, you owe me money.
Is this
I
like
don't like
Cabin in the
this.
Woods? Is this like Cabin in the Woods now? It's fake.
Exactly. But anyway,
How'd you feel about that sequence? Aside from the rest of the
I
movie.
found it very distracting and unnecessary, honestly.
Well, first off, get
First
out.
off.
No, I know. People who love that movie, I know. You'll defend all aspects of it. I get it. Whatever.
With
I
my-
mean,
with
I'm not a
Sam's
fan
life.
of the movie with it or without it.
Yeah.
So that's
Well, I
just
guess that's
No
okay.
part freaked me
probably
out.
my least favorite of his movie. I mean, the first one, I actually like the first one better than the second one.
A lot of
same.
people.
Second one I didn't
a
like at
lot
all.
of
Same.
people.
First movie I like okay, but when you compare it to the movies I really like of his, this is towards the bottom of the movies. But I think we were talking. I don't want to get. We always end up in this whole Quentin Tarantino thing. We need to do a Quentin Tarantino homage.
Over discussed.
But the movie that you have mentioned before, Frank, that you really liked, that I didn't like at all, and I don't know if I've told you guys this story or not, but it might be worth repeating, is Natural Born Killers. I saw a screening of that with my at that time. He's still a very good friend of mine, but he doesn't live here anymore. He lives in Virginia. His wife was worked for the studio and was doing the marketing release of that movie. So we went to a screening of it, and we both were sitting there watching it. And then, as the final credits were closing, my friend turned to me and said, "Wow, this is not a good movie. This was not a good movie." And I said, "No." And at that point, we weren't really that close to Quentin Tarantino, understanding that if he would have directed the movie versus Oliver Stone, which is really why I think the movie is not as good as it could have
Did
been.
Tarantino
I
said he
think-
didn't like it?
I think, Tarantino did not like it. He did not
I
like
think
what
s-
Oliver Stone
and
did
also-
with it.
I think also Stone didn't like how Robert Downey Jr. portrayed.
But I think if Tarantino had directed it, his style would have come through better in the movie.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, we were sitting there talking, and all of a sudden, my friend, who I almost said his name, he starts to turn to get up, then he sinks back down. He goes, "Oh my God, Oliver Stone is sitting right behind us." And he said, "Sit down, sit down."
Oh my
He goes,
god.
because he knows Oliver Stone.
Oh.
He goes, "Let's just sit here for a while. I do not want to have to talk to him," because he felt that strongly about didn't know how he would deal with
Damn.
talking
Letting
to
him
him
down?
about the movie. And I was like sitting here going, I would really like to meet Oliver Stone right now.
So you
I
turn
will lie
around.
right to his face and say, "Great job, Oliver." 'Cause
I loved it.
This is when Oliver Stone was really big still. I mean, he was starting the downward. This wasn't there yet, though. This was still him being
Like, eh.
I'm not well
on top of
versed
his-
on his stuff. What's the most?
JFK.
Platoon.
JF-
He won Best Picture. I think Platoon's probably his best movie.
Yeah, he also did-
JFK is very good. Born the 4th of July, which is a very good film with Tom Cruise.
Reagan.
Reagan. No.
All the president ones.
I would have to look more into
Which
some
is
of his
weird.
others, but the big one was Platoon was probably his biggest.
Gotcha.
in terms of because it won Best Picture and everything.
Other than Carrie, I don't know why I always get Brian De Palma and Oliver Stone films.
Oh, that's ridiculous. They're
Yeah.
never.
No,
They're
I
nothing
get,
alike.
I get
absolutely nothing
Ridley
alike.
Nothing
Scott
alike.
and Oliver Stone.
I know
Oliver
they're-
Stone is always very politically tied. His
Yeah,
movies
maybe
have
that's why
very
I've never
strong
seen-
political themes to them.
Yeah, that's why I haven't
Brian
seen any of his
Palma,
stuff.
He's just
You don't
he's an
know.
exploitation director.
That's
Which
what
is
I'm saying.
great.
That's
No,
what
there's
I'm
nothing
saying.
wrong with
no,
it. I'm
that's
just
what I'm
saying-
saying. I don't understand. It's like I don't understand why I get them.
I just really feel like, because I remember when the movie came out and not really understanding it at that time.
Akira, right?
No.
Yes.
Not understanding at that time about Quentin Tarantino enough because he'd only done, I think, Reservoir Dogs at that point and directed it. They didn't let him direct this. And not understanding why he was so upset with the result of the movie until later after I saw enough of his movies. Oh, of course.
Well,
Stone didn't understand the Tarantino style of humor and all that.
You know what? Maybe his
There's nothing
10th,
funny at
his
all
10th
about that
movie
movie.
should be the remake of Natural
well,
Born
should.
Killers.
didn't I?
He
I don't know.
should.
I think there was something about that was what one of the deals. I don't know. Well, that's a whole separate discussion for another time.
We need to do a Quentin Tarantino episode.
No, we don't.
I think
Actually, are you serious? I think we
one of
actually
our
do.
I think one of our
Why did you
seasons.
say that, by the way?
I just
I think one of
messing
our
with you.
seasons should just be Tarantino.
I'd be
A
down
whole
to do a
season?
Tarantino
Yeah.
thingy.
Season 9.
A
I
Tarantino
wouldn't mind
thingy.
doing like a 2-part thing. I don't want to do a whole
I don't
like
know. We
one
can do.
movie
We
at a
can
time.
also do a movie that could ruin. Well, no, you don't. You already don't like Kill Bill, but there's this movie.
I'll talk about it though.
We should
Yeah,
do.
there's this
We should
movie
do
that
Death Proof.
that he ripped completely off.
Lady
of
Snowblood.
And he denies it, right?
I think
no,
so.
he says he homages it.
But that's just.
Oh
It's
no,
an
no, I'm thinking of
homage.
Hunger Games and Battle Royale,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
the writer of Hunger Games says, "I didn't take anything from that."
I've never even heard of the Japanese before.
What is that? Is
Well,
that
you-
a part
well,
of the world?
Well, you know how.
Battle Royale that's based on a book.
You know how.
Are you kidding?
It's actually a graphic
You
novel.
know how 50
but-
Shades of Grey started, right?
Why are we bringing this in now?
Wow, you took a really turn to the south. But go ahead, how?
Yeah.
It was
Way down
It was a
south.
fan fiction.
Can you orally tell me how it started?
No, because I'm about to, it was a fan fiction of Twilight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's get back to Akira because we know you love that movie.
Okay. Anyway, to wrap up my thoughts, so the movie started, and I'd
then it went.
say
Yeah.
I ask about the dub version versus the
Oh yes.
We forgot about that.
subtitle version. So I was watching the subtitle version,
Yeah.
and the movie started, and I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm a bit in Sam's camp, but the movie started.
You don't like to read.
And my God, I love to read. And my God, I mean, that shit was going by so fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if my brain was just not going fast enough last night, but I was trying to read that shit, and it was like da 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 da.
I
That's
thought
exactly
I
what
was
they
having
said.
a stroke. So I was
And-
like, why do I need why am I having trouble right now?
And why are they? And so I thought, okay, but what I'm reading doesn't seem that important. Meaning, like I can catch like half the words and get what they're saying. So I rocked with that for a good deal of the movie, and then I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna stop here, flip to the dub, go over there, and see what that's like.
Mhm.
So I flipped to the dub, watched that for a while, and went, wow, this acting's really bad. This is really bad. Need to go back to the subtitles.
Yeah, that's why I don't like dubbed.
Yeah,
because you can for sure tell.
Even with
Yeah.
animation, it just
It doesn't
felt
work.
very.
You know what's
Fake.
funny is that the second dub for this movie. I
Is
don't
that
know
what-
which dub you saw. You
I
might have
saw
seen the
whatever's
first
on Hulu.
one.
I don't know.
It might have been the first one, but if it was the second one, it's actually considered a pretty decent dub.
Yeah,
so-
because I
Oh, okay.
and I know that's a big thing too with like I think the home video releases. It's like which dub
yeah,
are
the
you
original dub was dog
and
shit.
yeah, and I think that was a big
Really?
thing too. I think the 4K that came out has like the new
So
The
dub.
second
maybe I
dub, yeah.
saw the good dub, but I watched that for a while. Anyway, the only thing that I can, I mean, I'll talk about the movie a little more, but I did keep stopping and seeing how much time was left.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I never.
I can't do that.
I
See-
just never got on board with this
That's-
movie.
I wanted
was
to so bad.
I don't want to say I was bored. That'd be not be the right. That'd be like an insult. But I was so
You just wanna know,
not
like-
engaged.
Right,
At
you just wanna
all
know if
in
there's-
anything I was watching.
You just want to know if there's like a freaking. What is that word? Just like a resolution
Yeah, that's why
near the horizon.
that's why sometimes I'm so like I sometimes like with certain films like I'm like I know this is a long one. I was like I have to see this in theaters because if I have that option of a pause button or check
You'll
it at home,
never
I'm like I
finish.
cannot,
Yeah.
I can't get through it.
You
And
should
I
blow
f-
dry your hair. It's so fluffy.
I really felt bad.
Dan brought that up
no,
too.
it looks very flat. And you look like that Seinfeld episode when they ran out of high-powered water. That's what your hair looks like.
No, it looks good. I just wonder.
Oh,
no, okay,
It's shiny
so
in a good
it's
way.
So
this is okay. So before I
It
Like,
needs
came,
did you
a
curl
fluff-
your
It
hair?
needs a fluffing.
no,
Really?
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Before
Fluffer.
Before I came over here, I took a shower at home and I washed my hair. So I think it wasn't fully dry when I was here. So I gotta like fix it up a little bit.
I
Still.
thought I think it looks
Okay,
fine.
if you think it looks, I trust your
Little
opinion
mousse,
over this
maybe?
guy's.
The
This
what?
guy wants
Yeah.
me.
Little mousse?
This guy wants me to look like a dapper.
Ugh.
I have like the non-matte one too. That's my favorite because I don't like sometimes when it gets that weird. I don't want to look like George Clooney. And Oh Brother, We're
back
a
to the
Pal.
movie, Akira. In case you're taking notes, yeah, I had a really hard time. I mean, I just kept checking. At one point, you said to me, "How much more do you have?" And I went like 53 minutes. I put a sad
That's the
face
text
on
you
it.
sent me.
And I was because I felt that's how I felt. I've got to get through this. We have a podcast. I have to get through this. And sadly, that's what I did. Except, go ahead. Then I'm going to finish.
I was going to say is because you were asking about the gold standard, and I said, "Oh, I thought you had finished the movie." So I said, "Watch this YouTube video. You only need to watch like the first 8 or 9 minutes." And you said, "I can't. I still have 53 minutes left of this movie."
So, at some point, with about, I know now, like 10 minutes left, I fell asleep. Now, this is the best part of the story. I woke up, and there was another anime on. But I didn't know it.
So
What
you
was
thought
it?
it was one
I
pill
don't
thing?
know. So I'm watching the movie for
Can't you go on previously? Oh,
I'm-
you're watching
I'm
it?
watching for like 5 minutes going,
When did this happen?
what? I don't even know these characters. What is going on here? So then I paused it. It wasn't the same movie.
Can't you go on like recently?
I could.
We're going to find that out.
And then I backed it up. I got off of that, went backed up like 15 minutes to where I found where I remembered, and then I watched the rest of the movie. That's a long haul, man. That movie's a long haul. 2
Yeah,
hours
let's-
and 5
let's have
minutes,
some
and
positive-
it's a lot of stuff.
What are
You
your-
two
what
have
are
to say
your
something
thoughts?
positive.
Wait, before
No,
that,
not
do you
us.
guys think that maybe one of the reasons why you weren't engaged or you found yourself bored is because you found this story a little unapproachable? Like there was too much
Yes.
confusion going on that you couldn't, like,
Yeah,
there was too much going on for you to focus on one
Are
thing
you
that
saying the
interested
movie
you.
was too smart for us? Is that
no,
what you're trying
just
to
that
say?
it
'Cause that's
doesn't
what
really.
I heard.
It doesn't really give like handhold you. It just kind of throws you into the world
I
without
don't
explaining
think so.
much.
I feel like we've watched denser movies and we're fine. I think for me, again, it's just anime. I can't.
Yeah,
I just.
which is weird because it's like it's the art of your people. So
Yeah, you think so,
Whoa.
but like also.
But only
I'm
Frank could
just-
say that. If I said that, I'd be kicked out of this podcast.
much like Lucha Libre is the art of my people.
Yeah,
Is
I don't
that
know.
some
I don't
kind
know.
of milk with rum? What is that?
No.
I'll tell you later.
Frank only watches Cantinflas.
And,
Go ahead, Sam. I'll let you
Chavo del
feel this.
Ocho.
one, 'cause I did not feel like it was above my.
No,
No,
I
that's
didn't-
not what I'm
Level.
That's
saying.
not what he's
Thinking.
saying.
What I'm
That's
saying
not
is, like,
what he said at all.
It did.
I
Considering
interpret it
that he
that way.
considering that Travis got and understood it, I know that wasn't above
What I'm,
my
Yeah.
thing.
what I'm
What
saying
he
is
meant-
it did. Did you find it unapproachable in that you don't you don't get an introduction to really anybody or anything that's going on, and then by the time the plot is going on, you're like, wait, who are these people? What's going
no,
on?
we've seen Evil Dead. It does that. No, I don't think
No?
it's no.
I mean, I think for me, it's just, I just don't like anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the way it looks. I don't
Yeah,
like the style of it. I don't like the sound of it. I don't like anything about it.
I feel like
It's just so not. It looks like incomplete animation.
That's
to
what my
me.
ex said about me. I don't like
It
the
looks
way-
like it needs to be completed. Like, can you just finish off this and make it look better?
damn.
It looks so.
Damn.
It looks just so.
This episode will not be released.
Why?
I'm just kidding.
I think what
What are
I
you
do,
afraid of?
what I
Nothing.
do,
I was just kidding.
what I do like about anime is that it's, or just animation. It allows you to do things that live action won't be able to do ever.
Yeah.
So that freedom is there and it's nice, and that's why I enjoy some anime because it's just out of this world. But like, yeah, that's what I just don't think it was my cup of tea.
Well, maybe
Fair.
you could be right because I haven't seen much anime, so I can only draw from Speed Racer, Kill Bill, and this. I don't think I've really seen anything else. But to comment on what you just said, I always think about Charlie Chaplin. Back in the 1930s, he said, "Well, it just isn't fair. Bugs Bunny doesn't have to take a breath between his gags." And I think, I mean, based on what you just said, animation definitely has a place, and definitely has advantages over live action or whatever.
Mhm.
I guess watching this movie, it was a part of me kept going, "Why isn't this just a live action movie?
I was casting
Why am I
people in my
watching?
head
Why am I watching this
Who
animation?"
would you cast?
for the bad dude, the one with the what's his name? The bad dude?
Bad dude.
Yep.
Tetsuo?
No. The big bad dude.
No,
The big
he's
bad
our-
baddie.
Oh,
He's our poor our poor
Akira.
victim. He's our
No.
victimized hero. No, the guy with
The soldier.
mohawk
Yeah.
sort of haircut.
oh. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
I was thinking.
What's his name?
Let me pull up his
Great,
name.
now I
Wow.
forgot the
I don't
actor.
know.
I was
I don't know
thinking
his fucking name.
the
This is
dude
like your
from
favorite
2049. The in the beginning when he was like,
Oh, Dave Bautista.
yeah, I wanted him to be him.
But now Dave Bautista
No, I want
now,
the guy from.
or Dave Bautista? Because have you seen
I
Dave
want the
Bautista
guy
now?
from
Skinny,
the
no.
water the water movie with the ghoul and the girl.
Shape of Water.
Yeah, I want that guy, that military guy that he bit his
Oh,
finger
he
off.
was in no. You're thinking the military guy in Shape of Water. The Michael Shannon.
The bad guy, yeah.
Yeah, Michael
Yeah.
I want
Shannon.
him to play that part.
Michael Shannon. That didn't sound
He
like
can
him
play
at all.
anything.
no, I did not.
He just always looks angry.
He does, but like
He's a great actor.
he does angry really well. He gives
Shannon?
good angry. Yeah.
But all
Shannon.
those action sequences in the motorcycle, they could all been done live action.
Well, the
course.
Matrix,
But they
kind of
weren't.
took the whole Trinity. A lot of stuff with her on the motorcycle. I think was.
I guess we're gonna
Say one nice thing about this
No,
movie.
no, hold on.
we're not gonna find a happy ground because I
We-
don't care for the
We're the only ones
genre.
talking, and they're like,
no because
no.
they're
What I'm saying,
they-
I want to
they-
hear from them.
well
Like,
they-
what?
they-
Why do you guys love this movie, or why do you guys like
That's my
watch it?
final thoughts.
do you
No, it's
love
not, bitch. Like, just
do you love this movie?
that one more
Travis?
time.
no, it's not, bitch.
I don't say I love this movie. I wouldn't say
didn't-
that
But
at
you
all.
watched it many times.
I've
no?
seen it a few times.
Okay, so why? What makes you go back?
Okay, so it was just some different experiences. Was the first time I watched it is because, like I said, I'd heard all these things about it, and I was like, well, I don't know anything about it, but I want to see it in like a theater setting because everyone talks about it, so I want to see it
Yeah.
with like the bells and whistles. So then, like I said, I found out they were playing at the Arrow, so I watched it there.
You're retelling the same story. I'm
Well,
just
that's
saying.
why because I'm starting from the beginning. I'm trying to go, and then I think I've seen it
From the
again.
beginning of time.
No, I just
From the beginning.
well, and then I
in the
watched.
beginning.
Well, then I watched it again because I saw this video.
Volcanoes were-
Video.
I saw this video that was they were interviewing a like an animator, and he was going through all the techniques they used in the film. So that made me say, "Oh, I want to watch this again because of the technical aspects." And I think that's what kind of makes me go back is just the technical aspects of the film.
Right, I remember you mentioning that most people watch it because so you're one of those people
I
that watch
don't-
it because of the technical aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are people that opposite, but that's my reasoning and just the craftsmanship that went into it. And that's why well, sometimes with a lot of movies I watch where I'm like, they're not necessarily great, but you know.
But I think this movie is considered to be, I don't know about the word great. Well, yeah, I think you actually said masterpiece. So
Yeah, it is
I
considered.
think it is considered to be a great movie. And I mean, I guess I would have to, well, I would have to watch it again for sure. But in terms of storytelling, it's definitely complex, heavily layered. There's a lot going on. I would never accuse this movie of not having a good story. I mean, I found myself a bit confused, I will admit, but I think part of that was I also found myself just not engaged. I just couldn't get over the hurdle, and I don't care about the technical aspects of it, so that
Yeah.
didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I think if I knew going in the technical stuff, maybe I would have appreciated it more. But right, I went in not knowing, and I don't really care. What about you, Frank?
I love this movie
Why?
because I think it's very well drawn.
Mm-hmm.
I think the plot is interesting. As somebody who really enjoys lore, as you know, I find the lore of like the Akira and the whole Neo Tokyo setting to be really, really interesting. It's political. It's complex. And I enjoy the action sequences. I really like the way that they present this epic story through animation and the fluidness or the fluidity of some of the action, because it's not all fluid, but I think it's largely an artistic choice. I just think it's up until that point, I hadn't seen an animated film that so closely resembled a lot of the approaches and techniques that are used in live action films. So for that reason, I really appreciate it. And the music, I think, is great.
The music was good.
I really enjoy the music. Yeah, just overall the package. Like I can appreciate it while also, like I said before, acknowledging that stuff has come out since then that has either matched or surpassed it in terms of those aspects.
Now, are there manga readers that did not enjoy this?
I'm
Because
sure.
it was like, because there's a bunch of them packed into like 2 hours. So I'm sure
Yeah.
a lot's missed.
I'm sure.
I think I never really looked into the community, but I do remember seeing like hints of people. You
I
know,
mean-
there's always absolutists
Yeah.
when
And-
it comes to fandom, so I'm sure there's a decently sizable community
and
that's like, ew.
And at
The
the,
book
same,
is better.
Actually,
and at the same,
really quick, it's actually Dan who has read every single manga.
Oh,
He's
you
just
bet.
keeping it from
And
us.
he,
I am
yeah.
Mongo crazy. I'm sorry, manga. Mongo is Blazing Saddles.
yeah, manga like candy.
What were you going to say?
No,
No,
I'm just
yeah,
saying,
yeah,
I
yeah.
How do you
think
spell it, Frank? Manga?
M-A-N-G-A.
I think because you specified, my question was answered because I didn't know you were specifically talking about the manga. I thought you were talking about like fans of anime in general, if they didn't like some of it. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, like, it's not the two and two together. It's like, oh, you like anime, you're gonna like this. You know, it's kind of like, oh, you know,
If that question was coming from me, an Asian, that would be crazy.
that's why I was like, what?
An Asian.
An
That's why.
Asian.
That's why for what I'm like, Sam, this is its own medium. Like, I was like, Sam's generalizing right now. That's why I was like, that's what I was thinking about. And I didn't even know. I was like, Sam, you answered my question. I don't want to.
I have a question.
We can still be
When
friends.
did anime start? I was just looking online here, but
Before time.
1950s? When did they start? It must
I
have
don't know
been
enough
like
about the genre, but I know it's been around. I mean, like I said, anime. It's like, well, like when were they doing like cartoons? Really?
I mean, Warner Brothers was doing cartoons and Disney in the 1930s.
Well, I'm sure we had some anime from that because you know it's like
That's what
this
I'm
was
looking at
more
right
like
now.
the Western style.
1917?
Yeah, that's like the earliest. That's like the history of anime starts there. But actually, the first few were propaganda films from World War II.
Sure. As were the Warner Brother commercial cartoons.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Astro Boy is largely considered one of the first like
I
anime.
know Astro
I
Boy.
love Astro Boy.
Do you ever remember a TV show called Ultraman?
Oh,
Yes.
still going on.
No, it's not animated. It was a live action.
Yes.
Yeah, you like that
Yeah,
one. huh?
I have. The,
Didn't you guys want to
What
watch
do you mean
that for
it's still
Beyond Fest
going
a
on?
couple
they
years
still,
ago?
Yeah, they did,
still have
Ultraman.
newer
Shin
renditions.
Ultraman, there you
There's
go.
actually there's Shin Ultraman, which came out a few years ago, and now there's actually a new animated Netflix film. Ultraman never ended.
Okay, but I'm talking about the Ultraman I watched.
the original.
When,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I
yeah.
was a
No,
kid.
yeah,
that
no.
came from Japan and was dubbed.
Oh yeah, no, I watched that a lot. I watched it all the time.
I loved
Yeah.
that show so much.
Yeah, no. If you
It
have
was so stupid, but I loved it so much.
no,
It's in that same like sphere as like
Where it's
the
like-
the original Power Rangers.
Yes,
Yeah.
stuff,
absolutely.
Godzilla.
It's very, very Power Rangers like.
It's fun.
well, I'd say it's the other way around.
Well, no, but I mean, yes, it is the
Yeah.
other way around for sure. But no, it's very much in that same vein.
There is a station on Pluto TV that plays it.
Why are you whispering so no one will hear you?
I'm not saying like I'm just saying it
Everybody's
calmly.
listening.
Trying to remain calm. All right, I'm done.
Welcome
See you all
back
next
to
week.
Sponsor us,
Public
Pluto
Access
TV.
Radio.
See you all next
we
week.
started there, and we're going to go back to
See you next Tuesday.
So, Travis, why don't you give us your final thoughts? And can you stay public access for
I
us?
think I pretty much summed them up when Sam
We did
asked-
not.
You're not listening to me.
I'm not going to do my public access
There
for
you
us.
go.
Oh, there you go.
You're good now.
Okay, so
He's just whispering.
Let's calm the audience down. I think we've been a little too rowdy today.
I think this is some yes, but also like we've been rowdier, like when we're talking about titles of movies.
That's true.
Oh, can I interject really quick?
Interject.
I've never done that to anyone. What?
Wait, can't you get... Never mind.
Interlinked.
You know, okay, so like the cover, Akira, guy on the bike.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for the longest time, okay, biker gang, cool. It's a movie about bikes, much like Speed Racer. And then you watch it, and you're like, oh, this has nothing to do with like
No.
fucking
But
bikes. But hold on. And then I feel like I've been duped by this before, where you think the title and the image is the same thing. It's always fucking Asians.
Did you
Again,
think
I'm
the
Asian.
guy was called Akira on the cover?
Yeah.
His name?
Don't
That
judge me.
means a lot.
No, I did. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is my next point. Ichi the Killer. You
Yeah.
think the guy on the cover is
Is
Ichi the
That's
killer,
itchy.
not.
but it's not.
It's not.
Yeah, so don't judge.
I tried watching Ichi the Killer. I got like,
You can't get past the first minute, huh?
oh, I couldn't. I was like, I looked. I was like, I'm sorry. I can't do. Can we watch this another time? I can't do this right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I
So
will.
next week,
I will say before we do final thoughts.
Yes.
I'm always told don't read the synopsis. Don't read what it's about. Just watch the movie. I think in this case, it probably would have been an advantage to read the synopsis.
I think so.
I really do. I
Mhm.
think that would have helped me because I'm thinking about everything you've said, Frank, not Travis.
It would definitely give it context.
And I think it might have helped
Mhm.
just going into it. Like do a little background on it, read a little bit about it, understand the movie, the making, whatever. I mean, whatever I could
Yeah.
have learned. And then watching it knowing all that.
Yeah, it's
I think I would have gone into it at least knowing what I was going into. I didn't do that. So I didn't know what I was going into.
but isn't that the fun of it though?
Not in this case.
So we're looking for
It
context.
wasn't fun.
I think
Context.
that's where you and I differ.
I don't think you really care that much for this.
I don't. But also, again, with anime having like freedom, it was fine. It was entertained. Not okay.
entertaining.
I just found myself really struggling through the entire thing.
Yeah.
And I think I wish I would have known a little bit more about the background going in.
So maybe you should do your final thoughts.
That is
I
his
think
final
I
thoughts.
think I just did.
So,
So
what's
would
your
you
score?
give it?
I want to be fair because the fact that I don't particularly care for this genre as much as I've seen it, which is not very much. So let's be fair. It doesn't make me want to see more of this genre, though, which is the problem.
Yeah.
Well, there's
it doesn't
many-
Which
make
is
me-
great because there's like at least 2 more animes on the list.
Oh my
know?
god.
So
Animes.
it's hard.
Animes.
It's
Well, you
hard
gotta
for me to. It's a hard score, I will tell you, because I just really struggled through this. I really never got on board. I never got where I was going. Yeah, okay, I'm doing this, man.
Mhm.
I mean, there were parts where I was getting engaged, but then all of a sudden I wasn't anymore, and I just found myself. And again, maybe it was last night. Maybe it was just the time and
It could've
place.
been.
Maybe it was just not understanding what I was watching. I'm trying to be as kind as I can, because by the end of the movie, I really was just not
Well, I'll tell you.
digging anything that I saw.
So what's your score?
I'm gonna bump my score up
Mm.
because I think it deserves.
2.5.
I think I think it deserves a better score. I think I'm gonna go 2.5 with the caveat that I would be willing to watch more anime to try and get a better understanding of.
Just not this
I'm
one
gonna
again.
go in.
No, but I mean, I think to be fair to the genre, I don't feel like I really know it. I feel like I really wasn't prepared for it. And the next time we do one, I'm going to do research on it before I watch it. Unless you
Okay.
tell me I don't need to.
I will
Like
tell-
Frank, if you said to me, "No, you don't need to. You'll be fine. This plot's not going to be like complicated."
I will tell you this, Dan.
2.5. Hang on, giant bunnies.
I like
That's
that
good.
score.
I did dig those bunnies.
That's a good one.
So, Dan,
Out of 5.
I'm going to tell you, give it more chances because
I'm not watching this
I'm
again.
gonna no, not this movie. I'm gonna say you said a word that
We're
is not
going
accurate.
to a Q&A of Akira.
Yeah.
Oh no! Please
Director's
don't.
cut
Please
4
don't
hours.
correct
I would
me.
Dan,
love to see
If
this
you
in a theater.
correct me, I swear I'll reach
I'm
out.
not.
And
You said did you say you wanted more positive light to like maybe
Yeah.
watch some more?
Yeah.
What I'm gonna say is you just gotta
Watch.
remember you can't generalize and say anime itself is not a genre. I would say it's more of the medium. So I will say for this,
so
it
what
was,
would the genre be?
well, this one was
Does
more.
anime have different genres?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's like they have.
Really? Do they have musical theater genre?
I'm sure they have some
Ooh,
about
that'd be so cool.
Dan. There was a
They almost
very
made a video game into a
Dan.
musical.
There's a very famous
Damn
anime
it.
out. There's a very famous anime out called what is it? The first Slam Dunk.
Oh, I thought you were gonna talk about Food Wars.
That's the first Slam Dunk, where it's a big thing in anime is sports.
Yes.
So there's one that's literally it's about basketball. So I will say, while you didn't like not Ghost in the Shell, Akira, it was probably just the genre within the anime.
More just that story.
Story.
That genre.
I think that's what it's. So I'm saying
Yeah.
I would.
So then let's expand. Let's do it.
Yeah.
let's not do the next anime the same genre we did this one.
No, we
Frank.
probably won't. I mean, there is another genre. I mean, there is another anime that's a similar genre, like cyber stuff. But
Yeah.
I feel like with anime, they go really like heavy into the science fiction stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe
They
that's
don't really do.
Huh?
Like
They don't or
They
they,
do.
And even then, even you got some where it's like detectives, like Detective Conan, like that's a really big one. They have movies all the time, but that's just what I'm gonna say is it's not, it's we're the same thing too when like people with comic books they're like, oh, I don't like comic books, but it's all superhero. It's not. But
Duly noted. Thank you for correcting me. What are your
I'm not
final
correcting.
thoughts?
I'm giving you
No, I know. You gave me
encouragement.
some context. You gave me some insight. Now, what's your
My final
what's your
thoughts is
4.9
I
out
think
of 5?
I think people know not why I like this movie.
I don't think so. Can you tell them?
I really don't know why you like
what's
this movie.
more with feeling.
Because technically,
Yeah, on a technical. That's what I said.
he appreciates the technical aspects of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and like I said, and I'm more, with me, I'm a big fan of like sci-fi, the heavy sci-fi, like the tech sci-fi, Blade Runner, all of that.
Nerd.
So I'm like I said, I'm very much into that. So for me, it was like this. While I'm gonna say I agree, it's not a perfect movie. Like I said, this is a movie I can watch and put on because I like the worlds it creates and I like to see the details and just watch it. Like I said, and I don't know, like it's just fitting for me. It's fun. Sorry, I will give this movie. I'm not gonna give it a 4.9.
It'll be over 4.
4.89.
It'll be over 4 for
No,
sure.
I was gonna say for me it would just be 4. Like I will say not over 4.
It's still a 4 nonetheless.
Yeah, I will give it a 4 of the guys, the young old man.
You stupid bitch.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm hard into the I like
Okay.
Oh,
sci-fi.
he's hardened.
Wait, you
Ew.
told us you weren't that into anime.
I'm saying
Now you're saying you're
no.
hard into it?
I'm not saying
By the
anime.
way, he said
This
hard.
is his coming out.
That's not what I wasn't saying anime. I was saying like the sci-fi, heavy sci-fi, and body horror.
Remember, it has genre. So he's into the genre.
Well, he corrected me on the genre, which I appreciate because he's right. I didn't know that, though. I honestly thought all anime was just action, sci-fi stuff.
No, actually, one of my other favorite animes is it's got a little sci-fi in it, but it's mostly like a comedy fantasy. It's called
Let's
Your
watch
Name.
it.
It's great. Have you seen it?
No.
Throw me some
it came
comedy.
out- it
little
came out
anime
recently, no?
comedy.
Yeah, it's great. It's
You should
animated
watch Sailor
beautifully.
Moon, Dan. Watch Sailor
Really?
Moon.
Okay, Sam, we have to end on Frank.
I feel like
If you're being
I've
frank.
explained my thoughts and feelings, and I'm just I just don't feel like repeating myself. So overall, I give it a 3 river of sewage water out
That's a
of
good
5.
one. Boy, that sewage water was gross, wasn't it? That was
You
so
can
gross.
almost smell it.
Ugh. All right, your turn.
I love this movie. If you don't like this movie, fuck you.
Dan.
You know what? Going into this movie, I kind of figured that the reactions weren't going to be so great, but I was hoping that we could all kind of like pull something from it.
And I think
feel like we
did.
did.
Yeah.
We did, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not an easy movie to sit down and
Digest,
watch
yeah.
and digest in one viewing, and I will admit that because I feel like that's with everybody, especially considering it was unfinished at the time that it was made, and they kind of decided to just start in the middle of it and not really introduce you to anything in like a way that a movie normally does. Which, yes, has been done before, but I feel like so much was thrown at you at once that it is kind of hard to be welcomed into this like universe. But with repeated viewings, I think it really does help. We won't be doing that, but
Thank
you know, maybe if there's a viewing or a showing, we may end up being forced to go.
I'm
It's a
working
company.
that day.
It's a company exercise.
Sorry, I'm working that
Yeah,
day.
I think I'm
Yeah.
getting
Well,
my
you-
hair
Sam,
done
you maybe
that
watch
day.
some-
You've
Solo.
both been fired, and
Oh,
also
yeah.
your
I'm just
hair is
kidding.
falling out. So,
Damn.
It sure is.
but you're still gonna have a haircut.
No, you know what, Frank? I'm sorry to interrupt. Sam doesn't have to, because she's already doing the company outing, a movie she didn't like that she's gonna go see in theaters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
The
Event
Crow.
Horizon.
She's gonna go
Oh,
see
Event
Event Horizon in theaters. Dan's face.
And Dan, guess
You're
what?
going too.
Hey, buddy.
I'll go with you,
Buddy.
Sam.
It's a Sunday at 9:30 p.m.
But
I'm gonna probably fall asleep, and who cares?
I was this close to not going. We'll explain the story
I'll
later.
explain.
But yeah, I think it's I definitely consider it a masterpiece, and I think it's all the merits that it's been, like that have been talked about. I think it deserves them, deserves the accolades.
If you don't give this a 5 out of 5, then what is all this for?
I know, right? What is this all for? Well, let's start from the beginning. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 little psychic power suits. Because the
kid,
right? They were
I
so
will
adorable.
say, I
But are
will
you really
say
giving it a
that
5?
Yes, I am.
that Rotten Tomatoes gave it 90 on their reviews and 90 on their audience score. So
Yeah.
that's pretty damn strong.
Yeah.
I did look that up after
It's
the movie
strong,
I was
it's
just
girthy.
curious because a lot of the movies we see, I'll look up and go, "Oh, really? 23 with the critics and 70 with the audience."
For the crow.
Yeah.
But no, this got really strong on both. So that doesn't surprise me, and it also doesn't surprise me that you feel that way about the movie because I really do feel like for me it's just a matter of just I don't know. I was gonna say it's not even taste; it's just a matter of either not having a lot of deep understanding of it or just I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what are we doing next week?
Not anime, or are we?
Well, actually,
We're doing NAU.
ew,
Ah.
that's nasty.
That's unreal.
Next week we're doing.
Next
hold on,
time.
let me pull up the notes because
All right,
they're
Travis.
in here.
All right, Travis.
Wow.
But I forgot
did I
that
do?
we were gonna have to like.
Bride of
Talk about them.
Frankenstein, 1934.
Oh shit! Okay,
Because it took forever to pull it up.
this is interesting. So, next week we're gonna watch something that's actually kind of like Akira adjacent. If you've seen it before, next week we're watching Chronicle.
Of Narnia?
I'm just kidding.
Have you seen it before?
No, but I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah. Well,
is this the things that this is the one where we drew from?
yes.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Chronicle.
I was hoping we
It's
got
a found
something.
footage superhero
Chronicles
movie.
of Narnia.
What year? Not Chronicles of Narnia?
2000,
That's what I want to see.
Is it,
2012?
is it the one
no,
with like no?
2011 or
That's
12. No, this is the found footage. It's Dane Tuhan.
Yeah. Don't
It's
don't mention
more
anything
found
else about
footage.
Oh, sorry.
No more found footage, please. Why?
11 or
Why
12?
found footage?
Okay.
it. It's actually not a shaky cam. It's
not
2012.
shaky cam, yeah. You'll see what we mean by found footage.
Yeah.
It was the
Because
footage
it's
that
not
was found.
real.
Maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
won't.
Maybe this will be the one I finally just pretend I saw and just act like I saw.
You mean like I do every week?
Do spark notes.
What do you mean?
All right, so we'll see you all next.
What do you mean?
Unsettling, intense, and brooding.
Not the brooding.
I don't like brooding. I really don't like brooding.
Akira. I keep
All
thinking
right,
he's
well,
saying
this is fun.
Canada when he keeps calling his name. I was like, Canada.
If you liked this episode,
Give us a shout out.
then share it with your friends.
Like it. Touch it.
Like it, review it.
the subscribe button.
Lots of buttons you can push. Subscribe. You know, let's keep it going, man. We love doing what we're doing. We want you to love it. We want you to share it with the whole world. Thank you so much. Next week, we'll be reviewing Chronicle. Until then, I'm Dan.
I'm Travis, man.
I'm Sam.
I'm Frank.
And this has been Strangers in the Alps, a movie podcast. And we are
Gay.
out. Three, dos, uno.
That's racist.
Dan?